Welcome back to Game 2 of this doubleheader between the Edgewood Eagles and the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. Good afternoon. If you didn't join us for Game 1, my name's Aaron Schellen, and I've got a very special guest with me here in the quote-unquote booth here at Glancy Field. I've got former, it's like you've played a couple of games of baseball in your life.
I might have done this once or twice.
We got Game 2. We saw a fun one in Game 1. Scarlet Hawks took an early lead. Had to battle from behind with a 5-run eighth inning. They eventually won that one 10-6. And we talked about this during the game. It was small ball at the bottom of the order, and it was the thumpers at the top of the order that did it for them in Game 1.
Yeah, that was what was massive. Obviously, a lot of output from your two big bats and Guts and Pack. So you're going to look to that again and hope the rest of the order can also produce. We'll see if I expect we'll see the exact same type of gameplay. A lot of base running.
Yeah.
A lot of stolen bases. We're going to see a lot of bunting from both sides, as long as it's still close, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these two teams are made of. So.
And really, I think it'll come down to which team makes the fewer mistakes. There were some mistakes in the field made by Edgewood in that 5-run eighth inning that helped propel the offense. He had a misplay at second base. He had a couple of infielders fall down on bunts, and that sort of opened the floodgates for the Scarlet Hawks to take Game 1 by the final score of 10-6. Game 2 underway. On the mound is the freshman Carson Weiss, and as expected, it's been a little up and down for the freshman here. This is his 4th start of the season. Had a couple of good starts earlier in the year. His last one, though, was a tough one down in Florida against Wisconsin Stevens Point. 11 hits, 9 runs in 3 2/3 innings. But somebody that obviously Coach Seifert feels very highly about, slotting him in there behind Cameron Bracewell and just giving him the ball, once a week or whatever, and telling him to go get the job done.
Right. He has the longevity in terms of, he can go out and give you 80 pitches, which not every freshman can necessarily do that. And he also has the stuff. I mean, he has an electric fastball. He has a good breaking ball. So he's got all the right ingredients. And, in his freshman campaign, he's trying to put that into a collegiate career.
Well, there's a good start as he strikes out the leadoff man, TJ Tolliver, and that's a huge out. Tolliver was the thorn in the side of the Hawks in Game 1 for Edgewood. He went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 runs knocked in, and good start there by Weiss as he picks up the strikeout. The rest of this Eagles lineup, this is Dominic Lee, the designated hitter, batting second. Jacob Carney will bat third and play first. Kyle Prindle, the shortstop, in the cleanup spot. Brevin Brisick will bat fifth, play right. Ryan Harris is the left fielder, hitting sixth. Carson Richter will get the start in Game 2 behind the plate, batting seventh. Ryan Ambrosi hits eighth, plays second, and Hayden Hellenbrand will bat ninth and play third against Carson Weiss, 6'2", 180-pound freshman out of San Diego. Well, he ain't in San Diego anymore, Carson. Doesn't get 40 with 20-mile-an-hour winds. Pitch downstairs for a ball to Dominic Lee. Lee was 1 for 5 in Game 1 with a double. Two-one. Missing low again, 3-1.
Now, where we saw the Illinois Tech pitching staff have trouble in the first game was with the top of the order for Edgewood. Lefty heavy, their 1 through 4 is all lefties. Didn't have a bunch of answers for them. Carson obviously able to get Tolliver out and then walks the 2-hole here. But I'm curious to see, how the freshman does against those top 4 lefties.
Yeah, with the fact that, we've talked at length about how this Edgewood team likes to run. So how does he handle those top 4 hitters? How does he handle the running game?
Right.
Lee takes off. Does not take off. The ball gets away, and he has to scamper back. It's 1-0 here on Jacob Carney. Carney 1 for 4 in Game 1 with an RBI. It's 1-0 on the first baseman. Weiss has missed low with, I think, his last 5 pitches.
Yeah. I can't quite tell exactly what that pitch is.
He's
It's a
behind.
little harder for me with Carson because I've never caught him.
Right.
Obviously,
Right.
This is his first year, so I'm not as in tune to know like what the shapes of all of his pitches look like.
It's all right. We'll give you a pass.
We'll figure it out as we go here. Yeah, give me a couple innings and I'll have it.
You'll have it down for us. Perfect. 3 balls, no strikes. And he'll walk Carney. So back-to-back walks here by the freshman Weiss in the first inning, and that'll bring up Kyle Prindle, the shortstop, and immediately a mound visit. Weiss on the year, 11 Ks, 11 walks, and 14 2/3 innings. Game 1 was Cameron Bracewell and Drew Lenz for Edgewood. Lenz went 7. Got the no decision, 9 hits, 5 runs. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 7. Cam Bracewell, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 runs. He walked 2, struck out 3. But good bullpen work from the combination of Garcia, Schnur, and Gorey as they went 4 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 earned run. And that allowed the offense time to get back into it. First pitch to Prindle. Ooh, looked like a good one. Maybe a little low.
Yeah, a little bit low. We got a new umpire behind the plate, so we got a new zone to figure out as well. It's also difficult when you've walked the last 2 guys throwing a lot of balls. You're not going to get those borderline calls from the umpire.
That one's in for a strikeout. I was just about to say that. If you're a pitcher who lives around the plate, you're going to get a lot of those calls right on the edges. But if you're missing, you're not going to get those close ones.
You gotta earn it, so to speak.
Yep. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's bounced back nicely after the mound visit. 2 strikes right in, and the one that missed didn't miss by much. Lee at second, Carney at first. 1 out in the first. 1-2 to Prindle is slashed foul. Prindle 2 for 4 with a couple of RBI in game 1. Another 1-2. Fastball a little up. 2-2. Better at bat here, though, by Weiss. He's not missing by much with the pitches he's missing with.
Yeah, they're competitive. Whereas during the 2 walks, a lot of those pitches were not super competitive. So it seemed to have hit the reset button here.
Ground ball to short. Fryer on the backhand will go to Bovee at second. That's the only play he'll have. So Prindle reaches on the fielder's choice. Lee moves to third. Carney's out on the 6-4. And now Brevin Brisick, the right fielder. Brisick hitting .289 coming into the doubleheader. He was 2 for 4 with a couple of singles in game 1. Now Weiss just needs an out to get out of this. Wriggle around the 2 walks. First pitch fouled off by Brisick. 0-1. And that play by Fryer, not a terribly difficult play, that backhand, the throw over to Bovee, but it's got to be so comforting as a pitcher to know that you've got those 2 guys backing you up in the middle infield.
Especially as a young pitcher.
Skied to right, Swingle is over. Freddie makes the sliding catch out in right field, and Carson Weiss does work around those 2 walks. Half an inning in the books. Eagles nothing, Scarlet Hawks coming up. Bottom one. A couple of walks by Carson Weiss, but he was able to get around it with a ground out and a fly out. And now Illinois Tech looks to take the lead here in the bottom of the first, just like they did in game one. Lineup for Illinois Tech looks almost identical to game one. This is Jack Fryer batting leadoff, playing short. Tyler Gutzfeld is the DH, hitting in the 2-hole. Michael Paxson bats third, place first. Jack Finch will move up from the 5 spot to the 4 spot and be the cleanup hitter. Lucas Wan will catch game 2 and bat 5th. Matt Bovey bats 6th at second. Freddie Swingle in right field batting 7th. Luke Yaknin hits 8th and plays center. And Timmy Old will bat 9th and play left against Aiden Shoemaker, who threw the first pitch over the head of Jack Fryer. And the second one in for a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, that pitch behind Fryer's head, I don't think anybody thought it was intentional. It sure got both dugouts fired up.
Yeah, why not, right? First pitch against a couple of rivals.
Ooh.
1-2 on Fryer. Jack had a huge game one, in addition to playing his typical solid shortstop, went 3 for 5 with a triple and 3 runs knocked in. And that goes to the backstop again, and no surprise, Jack with a big smile on his face.
He's always smiling.
Always smiling.
Never see him sad, never see him upset.
2 balls, 2 strikes here on the sophomore Jack Fryer. 2-2 pitch. Checks his swing, holds up 3-2.
That's a good pitch right there from Shoemaker. He's got a really sharp 12-6 curveball. Definitely going to see how much he's able to get that in the zone, and that will kind of clarify how much of a threat it is.
Fastball called strike 3. Fryer knew it. He'll walk back to the dugout. 1 away here in the bottom of the first. Shoemaker 1-1 on the year. 12 innings pitched so far. 17 hits allowed. 10 strikeouts, only 5 walks for Shoemaker. And he'll face Tyler Gutzfeld. And Tyler in his return to the lineup, 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 doubles, 3 RBI. He'll take it. Swings the first pitch, inside outs it to short. Prindle has it, and they retire Gutzfeld on the first pitch. So 2 up, 2 down here in the first. Now Michael Paxson. You talked about the top of this lineup. Fryer, Gutzfeld, Paxson in game 1, 8 for 14 with a home run, 3 doubles, a triple, and 8 RBI. That'll play.
That will work.
But that also means the bottom of your order is getting on base.
Yes, it does, and that's the important thing. That's how those guys are going to get all those RBIs.
Paxson swings the first pitch. Fair ball down the third base line. The long throw. Paxson beats it by half a step. It's an infield hit for Michael Paxson. The inning will continue here for Jack Finch. Good hustle. Paxson's a big guy, but runs pretty well for someone his size. 6 foot, over 200 pounds.
Yeah. Really good play by the third baseman there, just not able to get him in time.
Now Jack Finch came in hitting .346, 9 for his first 26 this year. He was 1 for 5 in game 1. First pitch fastball up and away. Paxson will also run a bit. He's got a couple of steals this season.
Yeah, they're not afraid to send just about anybody, unless you're like me. And
I was going to say, unless you're David Cooper,
yeah.
and then you get the red light.
Yeah, once you get caught all the time, you don't run anymore.
2 balls, no strikes here on Finch. Inside out to left, over forward is Harris. He won't get there. That lands in front of him, and after 2 quick outs, back-to-back singles here by Paxson and Finch have put runners on first and second with 2 outs for Lucas Wan.
Seen a lot of those today, especially with the wind blowing in, just like soft contact bloopers that falls in between the infield and the outfield, and it's been one of the biggest ways besides infield hits to really cause a lot of commotion.
And this game the wind so far doesn't seem to be as big a factor. You look out at the flagpole, and now the flag is kicking up, but it wasn't for most of the first inning. And sometimes batted ball luck is a thing, and you don't always make great contact, but sometimes it finds the ground. Lucas pinch hit in game 1. He drew a walk. He squared to bunt on 6 consecutive pitches, didn't offer it a single one of them, and drew a walk in that 5-run 8th. He's got an RBI situation here with Paxton at second, Finch at first. Fastball up and away, 2-1. Won 6 for 16 this year. 4 walks as well. That's a clean 500 on-base percentage right there in the early going for Lucas Juan.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the first game, but he has a very good eye and will draw a lot of walks, which is something you really love to see out of the catching position specifically. If you can't, and Lucas hits too. But, typically if you can't have guys that have offensive production at catcher, you want guys that are going to get on base, and Lucas does both of those things.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this in the first game, right? I mean, the role of a catcher, first and foremost, is defense and handling the pitching staff.
Right.
But, if you can get a catcher up there who can put together a competitive at bat, even if they're not always picking up hits, taking pitches, seeing a lot of pitches, working those counts, it's dropped in for a strike, 3-2. That has absolute value. I mean, even if Lucas doesn't get a hit here, he's going to see at least 6 pitches in this at-bat in the first inning, which looked like it was going to go relatively quickly.
Right.
And now you work that pitch count up a little bit. Runners will be off. The payoff pitch is chopped up the middle, fielded by Prindle, and he'll have no play. It looked like he had a play over at first, but didn't make the throw, so 3 straight hits by the Scarlet Hawks here in the first inning have loaded the bases for Matt Bovee. Matt at 235 coming into play. He was 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored in game 1. Paxton at third, Finch at second, Juan at first, and now you really want to take advantage of this. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
A little bit of giddy up on that fastball from Shoemaker there.
Bovee drops the bunt down right in front of the plate, and he tags out Paxton coming to home plate, and that will retire the side. So good idea by Matt, just not executed the way he wanted it. Half an inning in the books. Scarlet Hawks strand him and loaded in the first. Top 2 here, game 2. Illinois Tech, Edgewood. Scarlet Hawks left them loaded, and I was saying as we went to break, not a bad idea from Matt given the struggles that Edgewood has had defending the bunt so far in this doubleheader. But if you're going to do that, you got to get it up the line a little bit, not let the catcher play it cleanly like that.
Right. The bunt defense has been exposed as a weakness on Edgewood's side, so Illinois Tech will likely try and exploit that as much as possible here in game 2.
Ryan Harris, the left fielder, leading things off. That one a little bit high, 2-0. Harris 0 for 4 with a walk and a couple of strikeouts in game one. He struck out looking to end the game against John Gorey. Swings through the fastball there, and looks like Carson's got a little bit of giddy up behind that fastball.
He is a little bit of giddy up behind that fastball. It's, and that's stuff you like to see out of your freshman starter, a guy that can throw a good velo fastball.
Throws it again there and throws it right past him, and it's confident. I mean, that's a fastball knee high right down the middle.
Yeah.
It's here's my fastball, try to hit it, and to have that kind of confidence as a freshman's pretty impressive. The 2-2. Grounded to short. Fryer. Low throw, but Paxson is there. One away. Now, catcher Carson Richter.
Number 20, catcher Carson Richter.
Richter came in as a defensive replacement in game one. This looks like Richter 5 for 22 so far in the early going this year, 227. Squares to bunt. The pitch is upstairs, ball one. We talked about Carson. He had that tough outing last time out against Wisconsin Stevens Point, but against Elmhurst in his start prior to that, just 2 earned runs in 6. So, again, as you would expect, some up, some down out of a freshman starter getting his first taste of collegiate action.
Definitely. And Stevens Point is a very good opponent. They're usually a ranked team. I don't know exactly where they are this year, but reports from Florida is that they were very good.
They were very good. That's what the box score looked like. Yeah, that looked like a good team.
And that's kind of how those Florida trips go, right? You'll play some teams that are not good. You'll play some teams that are extremely good.
Yeah, I don't think
get a good mix.
I was looking at the box scores yesterday, and I don't think any of the 5 games they played down there in Florida went the full 9 innings.
Nope, they're all mercy rules.
Yes, every one of them, one way or the other. Yep. The 3-1 fouled back, so 3-0 to 3-2 here from Weiss.
They also played a couple scrimmages down there. We call them JV games. So they don't, they're not official games. Right. But allows some of the other players to get opportunities to play. And there was some funny reports. We got a couple position players that pitched in those games, and
those are the kind of things where they go to Coach Z and say, "Come on, man, I've always wanted to pitch. Like, let me show you what I got." Right. I can throw 85, 86. Here's a ground ball back to Weiss. Carson fields his position, tosses it over to first. 2 away, right? That's kind of how it goes, right? It's like, Coach, watch. I can hit the mid-80s. Give me a shot.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
Jackson Nutter, reports are that he pitched an inning and threw very well. And I know he's been putting up his own campaign to pitch a little bit
to come out of the pen.
Coaching staff, and I don't know how seriously they've been taking that, but serious enough to let him pitch in the scrimmage. Sounds like he did okay. So you get some of those funny reports as well as you have some of your younger guys get ABs and get time to play. So,
but again, that's what that whole non-conference schedule is for. It's to give some of those guys a chance to show themselves and to get some PT when they may not play quite as much during the conference schedule.
Right.
So 4 in a row retired by Weiss after the back-to-back walk. So whatever was said in that mound visit sunk in. And he's very confident with that fastball here over the last inning plus. He's putting it right where he wants to. 1-2 here to Ryan Ambrosi, the second baseman. Weiss fires. Ambrosi skies it to right. Swingle shades his eyes. Freddie makes the running catch, loses his hat, but squeezes the mitt. And it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Carson Weiss. An inning and a half down, no score. Bottom 2, my name's Aaron Shellen. I'm with former Scarlet Hawk catcher David Cooper. And David, you played a lot of games here on this field. Is there a single moment that stands out for you, as a part of this program?
Well, my only collegiate home run I hit here.
That was your first year, right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, my freshman year I hit a home run. Hit a couple more home runs in the fall, but never in like an actual game. That
when they count.
That goes towards my stats sheet. That was pretty cool. There was also a handful of walk-off wins. Those are always those are always
fun.
So
we had one of those on opening day out in Wheaton. There's a strike to Freddie
It's
Swingle.
weird to see walk-off wins when you're not at your home field.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
They're like
yeah.
at Wheaton and they walked off. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird.
2-1 fastball thrown past Swingle. So we got a couple pitchers that look pretty comfortable with that fastball here in the early going.
Yeah, keeping it upper part of the zone, generating a lot of swing and miss.
2-2. Swingle pops it up on the left side. Hellebrand and Prindle. It'll be Prindle making the catch. 1 out. 7-8-9 here in the second. Freddie Swingle, Luke Yaknin now, and then Timmy Old. Good game for Luke in game 1. 2 for 4. A couple of runs knocked in, including a 2-out RBI in the middle innings. Squares to bunt, called a strike. A lot of little things add up to some big things, right? And we talked about that in game 1, whether it was the Yakinen 2-out base hit or the double play that Garcia induced in the 5th. Like all of those individual moments turn an 11-10 loss into a 10-6 win.
Right. And you don't think about all those, and you can't point them out in the box score necessarily when the final is 10-6, right? But,
right.
Watching the game, those were key moments in the game for sure.
Nothing in 2. There's a breaking
There's
ball.
that waste pitch that we've been talking about, just trying to generate a chase.
Chase on that curveball in the dirt. Aiden Shoemaker retired the first 2 he faced in the first, then gave up 3 consecutive singles before getting out of it. Yakinen jammed a little bit, hits it out to left center field, and the running catch made by Tolliver. Looked like Tolliver may have lost that for a second, but had enough speed to close the gap and make the catch.
Yeah, hit well, just hung up in the air a little bit too long, allowing the fielders to get over there because it split the gap perfectly.
Yeah, and a long run for Tolliver. Luke doesn't usually pull the ball out to left center field that deep, so a long run for Tolliver to make that catch. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Timmy Old. Timmy chops it up the third baseline. That'll go foul. 0 for 2, couple of Ks for Timmy in game 1. The clouds have all basically gone away. We got a bright blue sky. The wind has died down considerably compared to game 1.
Don't jinx it, Aaron.
I know. I don't believe in the announcer's jinx, but the clouds are going to come in and the wind is going to pick up and it's going to prove me wrong right
40
here.
40-mile-an-hour winds next inning.
Right. Breaking ball in, called strike 3 to Old, and it's a 1-2-3 second for Aiden Shoemaker. 2 in the books, no score. Top three. Each pitcher has thrown a couple of scoreless innings so far. Carson Weiss for Illinois Tech has walked a couple, struck out a batter. On the other side, Aiden Shoemaker has given up a couple of hits and struck out a couple. It'll be 9-1-2 here for the Eagles. Hayden Hellebrand, TJ Tolliver, and Dominic Lee. That's up the first. Third baseline foul off the glove of Jack Finch. Hellebrand in game one. Good game out of the number 9 spot. 3 hits and 4 at-bats. The 0-1. Stays up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Defense playing Hellebrand basically straight up. Another opportunity for Finch. It eats him up. He gets it. He makes the throw. It won't be in time. So Hellebrand will reach. It's going to be a hit. So an infield single for Hellebrand. Hellebrand, who's now 4 for 5 in the doubleheader. TJ Tolliver, the center fielder now, with a runner at first, nobody out. Tolliver struck out swinging to get us started in the first. He was 3 for 4, 2 doubles in game one. First pitch down for a ball.
You'd much rather face Tolliver with 1 out and nobody on.
Well, of course.
But, yeah, not able to make that ground ball will cuts out Carson's work for him, that's for sure.
Runner takes off. The throw down by Juan is not in time. Hellebrand steals it standing up. He now has 3 stolen bases in the series in the doubleheader as well. So 4 hits, 3 steals out of the number 9 hitter.
Very dangerous in the 9 hole. Those are good numbers to roll into the top of your order with.
2-0 on Tolliver. Squares to bunt. Ball gets away from Juan. Hellebrand will go over to third on the pass ball. So he's now at third base with nobody out. So the infield single. A couple pitches later, that runner's at third base.
I think that's the first pass ball we've seen on the Illinois Tech side of things. I don't think Philly B gave up any in the first game. Maybe I'm mistaken.
No, we'll go with it. I'd have to look at the box score, but it's 3-1 here on Tolliver. With a runner at third, nobody out. Weiss kicks, fires. Breaking ball has Tolliver fooled. That one had some late break on it.
It's a good pitch. It's a very good pitch. It's a little bit loopier than Shoemaker's, but still very effective.
Let's see what he goes with on 3-2. He's had some success with the fastball here so far. Payoff pitch. That was the fastball, fouled off.
Yeah, it's that same spot that Carson was able to generate that strikeout, just bullying him with that fastball in. We've seen Tolliver basically go out and get anything that's over the plate, and Carson's decided to work in here, and Tolliver just hasn't got the barrel out there on that fastball quite yet.
Payoff pitch, misses low. So third walk of the game from Carson. Puts 2 on with nobody out here in the third inning for Dominic Lee. Lee walked in the first. Lee, the 5'7", 180-pound junior out of Waukesha. Comes up with runners at first and third, nobody out.
We might see some trickery on the base path here. We'll see.
There goes the runner from first, and they'll let him take second. So second and third now, nobody out.
Well, I guess when you don't throw the ball to second, there's no opportunity for trickery.
No opportunity.
Both these teams will pull, different plays in first and third situations to try and plate that run at third. There's a couple different ways to do that, and with how aggressive both of these teams are on the base path, we haven't seen any yet today, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do eventually, especially if it's a meaningful run on third base. We're having a watch issue.
Yes,
here.
we certainly are. First, it was Carson Weiss, who switched watches with Michael Paxson. Now Lucas Wan switching with Jack Finch.
The watches are interesting.
Tell me about the watches.
The watches, it's how they do all of their pitch calling and play calling now.
Okay.
So actually, Ryan Cantlin's calling the pitches from his phone in the dugout, and then that's getting communicated to the whole defense, as well as defensive positionings. On the offense, like if they're bunting, if they have green lights on the base path, all that stuff is coming through the watch.
Really? So you don't even have to give signals down at third base anymore?
Yeah, I don't even think you'll see Z give some signs. They may have signs in for other things, or Z might just be pretending to give signs. One of the two. But that was a change that we made when the pitch clock was implemented.
Right.
Obviously, the pitch clock doesn't have nearly as big of an effect.
It's grounded hard to third. Finch fields it, and he'll just hold it as he had to protect his head on that line drive. Did a nice job keeping the ball in front of him and keeping those runners from scoring.
Yeah, he's had a couple tough plays down there this inning.
Sometimes as an infielder, you just got to smother it, right?
Mm-hmm. Especially at third base.
Bases loaded, nobody out now for Jacob Carney. An opportunity for a big inning here for Edgewood. We'll see if Weiss can figure out a way to wriggle out of this. Get some music getting started in Carney's at bat. A little bit of gamesmanship maybe between these two rivals.
I don't know if that was intentional, but it sure was funny.
First pitch is lined into left center field, and not able to make the play out there is Old. That'll score 2 runs, and it's a 2-run single for Jacob Carney, and Edgewood gets on the board first. It's 2-0. Old almost made the play out there and left, but came up a bit short, and the Eagles get on the board first.
Yeah, it was a good effort by Tim, and fortunate that he was able to keep it in front. You hate to see when outfielders lay out for balls and then it scoots by him.
Yeah.
So he was able to keep it in front at the very least.
Right, if that gets past him, they might still be running.
Right. Yeah, if that gets past him, it goes from a 2-run single to a 3-run double, maybe a triple.
Another mound visit here. A momentum discussion. See, I've learned something today.
Yeah, Cantlin's not super happy with where the last couple of pitches have been from Carson. He's been barking at Lucas a little bit. Carson's left some of those fastballs over the middle, and we saw the first time through the order that was effective. They were swinging right through it. Second time through the order, we're seeing some barrels find those fastballs, and Cantlin wants to make sure he gets dialed into his locations here, try and prevent some hard contact.
Like they say with major league hitters, any major league hitter can hit 98 if they know it's coming.
Right.
You're not seeing 98 here, but the theory is the same, as that's bunted foul. If they know the fastball's coming, they can get around on it in most cases. Prindle grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. He comes up with runners at first and second, nobody out in the third. Already 2 runs in here for the Eagles. This bunts down. It's played there. No place to go for Weiss. That's just a perfect bunt by Prindle. Nothing that Weiss could do about that, and the bases are loaded again.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 5, Brevin Brizik.
Brevin Brizik will come up with the bases loaded, nobody out. 5 straight runners have reached here in the third inning against Carson Weiss. First pitch to Brizik is a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1.
It's been interesting to see how willing Edgewood is to bunt in the top of their order.
That was their number 4 hitter who laid that one down. Back up the middle into center field. That'll be another hit. That'll score at least 1. Rounding third is Carney. The throw to the plate gets away, and it's another 2-run hit for Edgewood. Brevin Brizik with a 2-run single to center, and it's 4-0. Six straight runners have reached, 4 straight singles against Carson Weiss. Now Ryan Harris. 4 in here in the inning. First pitch to Harris. He squares, offers at it. Foul tipped it into the middle. Lucas Wan for a strike. Carson needs something good here. Strike out, pop out, something that keeps those runners right where they are.
Yeah, and Edgewood's going to try and sack bunt and move him over. But you want to try and keep the double play intact here.
Popped up, and Lucas Wan is not able to corral it. He was there, tried the basket catch, and hops in and out of his mitt and gives new life to Ryan Harris. It's a tough play, I imagine, as a catcher. A pop-up on a bunt, you have no idea where it goes.
Yeah, it's just lucky enough that you can even find it, and then once you've found it, you have to sprint and dive towards it. So it's
and you're catching it backwards,
right?
Because you've got your back to the field, so you're kind of doing everything you're not taught to do as an outfielder when it comes to catching the ball.
Right. And those aren't things that you practice all that often, just because
it's hard to practice that type of.
Yeah, hard to replicate that for sure.
Yeah.
We'll do a lot of pop-up practice where you like set up a pitching machine and then just shoot balls into the sky and go get them. But
you're tracking it the whole time.
Right, and those are ones that are super high, like foul balls. But
right.
the little bunts that are just kind of 10 feet in the air, it's really hard to practice those. So it's just instinctual and a little bit of luck if you can find it and get there, type of thing.
Weiss could use a strikeout. He's got one so far. He's got a 2-2 count here on Harris with runners on first and second. 4 already in. The 2-2. Foul tipped, held on to by Wan, and there is the strikeout that Weiss needed. His second of the game. 1 out here in the third. And, just like in that last game, we talked about that 5th inning where Edgewood scored 3 times. It's all about limiting the damage. And they've already got 4 in here, but if you can keep it at 4 and not let it get to 6 or 7, you give yourself a shot to get back into it.
Exactly. D3 baseball is all about limiting the big inning.
And there's the base hit to left for Richter. Old will one-hop it. Everybody will move up 90 feet as Timmy throws it in the middle of the diamond. So Carson Richter continues this hit parade for Edgewood. Bases are loaded again. 6 hits in the inning for the Eagles, all singles. And now it's Ryan Ambrosi who popped out to right to end the second. But to your point, trying to keep a 1-run inning from becoming 3, or a 4-run inning from becoming 6, or a 6-run inning from becoming 10. Right. That's how you stay in games.
Usually, whoever has the biggest inning will win the game, which is not something you necessarily see at the D1 or the MLB level. You don't see those type of big innings all the time, but they're very common in D3 baseball.
Fouled
You'll
off
see
to the right.
5, 6, 7-run innings.
Yep. 9th man to hit in the inning, Ryan Ambrosi, the second baseman. He's down in the count, 0-2. Another strikeout situation here for young Carson Weiss. The 0-2. Fastball a little high, 1-2.
I like that pitch, though. He's had a couple times where it's 0-2, 1-2, and he's throwing a fastball and he leaves it over the heart of the plate about belt high, and guys have been hitting that this inning, so I like to see him try and elevate a little bit and get the swing and miss.
1-2 goes downstairs, stays low, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded. Number 8 hitter Ryan Ambrosi. Carson Weiss deals, and there's another base hit. This one will get down into right. Swingle will play it. It gets through Freddie. That will score Brisick from second. On to third goes Richter. And not a good inning here for Carson Weiss, as that is now a 6-run third inning, and it's 6-0, and that's going to be it for Carson here with 1 out in the third inning. Just couldn't get that big out when he needed it, and he's going to be pulled after 2 1/3. We'll be back. Scarlet Hawks down 6-0. Ethan Henry will be the first man out of the pen, replacing Carson Weiss. 2 1/3 for Carson, 7 hits. He's allowed 6 runs so far. He's responsible for both runners. And he'll turn it over to Ethan Henry, who is making his 4th appearance of the season. 6 1/3 innings so far for Ethan. 5 Ks, 4 walks in those 6 1/3. This is the 10th man to hit in the inning. That's a stolen base right out of the chute for Ryan Ambrosi. So 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Hayden Hillenbrand led off the inning with an infield single. He's the 10th man to hit, only 1 out still. Seven hits in the inning off of Carson Weiss, who really looked pretty good through those first 2 innings. It just sort of all went sideways here in the 3rd for him.
Yeah, seeing the order for the 2nd time, they were ready for the fastball.
1-1. It's popped up right over our head. 1-2. Yeah, you made the comment in between the break. It was just a lot of fastballs from Carson. We didn't see any of his secondary pitches.
Yeah, we did more the first time through the order, but in this inning, yeah, not a lot of off speed, not a lot of breaking balls, and when you're only throwing 1 pitch, it's pretty easy for the hitter to guess what's coming.
We got a balk called. So coming in to score is Richter on the balk. Over to 3rd goes Ambrosi. It's a 7-run 3rd inning. When it rains, it pours, I guess, right?
Well, that's what we were talking about, limiting that big inning.
Mm-hmm. They were able to do it in Game 1, and that's what allowed them to come back in and win the game, but not so much here as Henry picks up the strikeout of Hillenbrand. 2nd out here in the 4th.
Now batting for the Eagles.
Now TJ Tolliver. Tolliver walked, scored earlier in the inning. He struck out to start the game. Tolliver swings the first pitch, laces it out to left center field. No one's going to get it. And I'll go up to the wall. Tolliver will race into second. The throw into second, not in time. And Tolliver with his third double of the doubleheader. This is an RBI double. Another run comes in, and it's 8-0.
Batting for the Eagles, designated hitter number 23, Dominic Lee.
And unlike last game, where a lot of the contact that these Eagles hitters were making were ground balls that were finding holes, there have been some line drives hit in this third inning. Go to the backstop. Tolliver will go to third on the wild pitch.
That's an unfortunate one. Just bounced off the front of the plate there and went right over Lucas's head. It's the equivalent to getting like a bad hop in the infield, you know. But yeah, to your point, a lot of hard contact this inning. Just saw that double in the gap, a bunch of line drives out in the outfield. It's been a key difference for the offensive output.
Lee pops it up. That's not going to stay in the park. It's 1-1 here on Dominic Lee, who's 1 for 1. That one was earlier in the inning, an infield single. He also walked in the first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Henry to Lee. Ground ball to first. Paxson bobbles it, picks it up, throws it to Henry. It gets past Henry. Henry and Lee collide, and the 9th run of the inning will come home to score. Let's see if that goes in the books as a hit. Looks like it's going to go in the book as an E3. This is a 9-run 4th inning. The 13th man to come to the plate here in the inning is Jacob Carney. Carney with a 2-run single earlier in the inning. So Carson Weiss, 2 1/3. 7 hits, 8 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Henry misses away to Carney.
You know, after the back and forth and the competitiveness of last game, I did not
didn't expect this at all. It feels like it kind of took the wind out of the ballpark a little bit, so to speak. It's, you know, it was a back and forth game 1. Big last inning for the Scarlet Hawks that allowed them to walk out of there with the victory. First 2 innings, it was, clean baseball for the most part, and then floodgates opened here in the top of the 3rd for Edgewood. 3-0 pitch in for a strike, 3-1. Carney with Lee at first, 2 outs, and a 3-1 count.
It's a good opportunity for Henry. Hasn't seen a ton of innings so far this year or really in his career, but reports are that he's taken some big steps up in terms of his pitches and kind of how they're looking in bullpens and in practice. And down a handful of runs, he gets an opportunity here.
A chance to go out there and, throw 40 or 50 pitches and just be able to go out there and kind of show the coaching staff what you have. And it's still early enough that, who knows, if you can put up a couple of zeros and maybe the second time through the lineup for Illinois Tech, they're able to get to Shoemaker. First pitch fastball high to Prindle, who's 1 for 2 with a single.
Yeah, that's where the damage really started this inning. Was Edgewood got through their order for the second time, and we haven't seen the Scarlet Hawks go through their order for the second time yet.
That's in for a strike. 1-1. Now Henry is retired One batter so far. Here's a line drive to right, and Freddie Swingle makes the catch, and the inning finally comes to an end. 14 batters later, 9 runs put up by the Eagles. Illinois Tech. Put the mic in front of my mouth and try that again. Now Illinois Tech down 9-0 here as we go to the bottom of the third, and Aaron Schellen, I'm alongside David Cooper, and you know it's cliche, I think, but you can't hit a 9-run home run, right? You got to start with this batter, this pitch, and see where it takes you.
Yeah, we call it chipping away, because that's really all you can do. Just pass the torch on to the next guy. And the guy that's going to start with the torch is the guy that you want to start with the torch.
Fryer struck out looking in the bottom of the first. He's 3 for 6 in the doubleheader. Top of the order, Fryer, Gutsfeld, Paxson here against Shoemaker through 2. It's called a strike, 1-2. Shoemaker gave up 3 singles in the first. Tech wasn't able to do anything with that. And then a 1-2-3 seconds. And a 1-2 count here on Fryer. Checks his swing. Did he hold up? He do. The first base umpire thought about putting that right hand up. He saw that right arm go up, and then he called it safe. And Jack might be fortunate there. If I were him, I would be telling him to swing at anything close here. The 2-2. He's going to be out anyway on the very next pitch.
It's a really good pitch by Shoemaker. He has a pretty elite curveball. He's been able to land it for a strike here so far in this inning, and as he's going through the order for the second time, I wouldn't surprise if we see that usage go up a little bit more.
Hey, you got to mix things up, right? As you go through the lineup, you can't rely on that one pitch. If you had one pitch that was successful that first time through the lineup, you got to try something new the next time.
Right. We saw what happens when you just rely on the fastball last inning.
Yep.
So we'll see how Shoemaker decides to approach Illinois Tech for the second time.
Well, there's the curveball.
Yep.
1-1.
Yeah, Guts didn't like it. He asked the umpire where it was, thought it was a little low.
Chopped in front of the plate. Shoemaker to first. And Gutsfeld's now 0 for 2. If you're Edgewood, this is exactly what you want your starting pitcher to do, right? Your team gives you a big inning. You come out there, you throw up a 0, and get your offense right back out there. Try to get some more.
Teams that win a lot can pitch with a lead. If you have a lead, you go out there, you throw a 0, you get back in the dugout. Obviously that's the objective of every pitcher that steps on the mound. They want to go out there and throw a 0, but there's something that winning teams do because if you're a pitcher out there, you have a 9-run lead. There's no pressure. There's 0 pressure on you. So you just go out there and execute and walk back in the dugout.
Michael Paxson, infield single in the first. Chops this to third, and bad hop goes right through the legs of Hellenbrand. And we've talked a couple of times about field conditions early in the season, and that ball looks like it hit the lip of the grass and just stayed down and went through the legs of the third baseman, Hellebrand.
Yeah, we've seen some tough ones over at third base so far this game, and it's even harder at third base just because you're so much closer to the batter, and the ball usually is hit so much harder in that direction that it's entirely reactive rather than more methodical like a shortstop or a second base position.
Ground ball back up the middle, fielded by Ambrosi. He'll flip it to Prindle, and it's a quick third inning for Illinois Tech. Third of the way home, Scarlet Hawks down by a bunch. We go to the fourth and a 9-0 Edgewood lead. A 9-run third. They sent 14 men to the plate. Scored 8 runs off Carson Weiss. Ethan Henry back out there after pitching 2/3 of an inning in the third. And here he'll face Brisick, Harris, and Richter.
Interestingly, Henry's not wearing a watch anymore, and so Lucas is getting the sign from his watch and then relaying it old school to Henry.
Is it considered old school if it's something that, happened, within the last, 2 years?
Probably not.
And I would say, given that baseball has 130 years of history, I would refer to the watches as new school.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is new school. That's for sure.
The 0-2 to Brisick. Fastball up and away. He had a 2-run single in the third inning.
The watches are a little bit cheaper than the PitchCom technology.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
That would have been cool to use, but
1-2. Back to Henry. Ethan fields his position. Underhand toss over to Paxson for the first out here in the fourth. Now Ryan Harris, and 9 runs in that third inning. Every member of the Eagles team has reached base via hit or walk in this game except for Ryan Harris. That's got to be tough.
Yeah.
When your team is just rolling along and then you're sitting there with an offer up on the line score.
There's I'm a Rockies fan because I'm from Colorado, and there's a great quote from Todd Helton where the Rockies had a great day, but Todd Helton went 0 for 4, and they're like, "How come you went 0 for 4 and everybody else did great?" And he said, "Well, somebody had to get out."
Yeah, it's a good point. Todd Helton, a great ball player, man. He was a great ball player.
I always thought about that quote anytime that the team was having a great day, and I was not having a
you were not having a good day at the plate.
It's like, well, somebody has to get out today. I guess it'll be me.
Yeah, as a catcher though, there's a tangible, even if you struggle at the plate, you can walk off the field and say tangibly I had a good game because my pitchers walked 2 or,
And I was never a great hitter at the collegiate level, the high school level. My identity was always like a defense-first catcher. And so, there was a lot of days where, you may not have had a great day at the plate, but I still feel like I had a good day because I contributed in the way that I'm supposed to contribute. Right.
Well, that's what makes a good teammate, right? 2-2. Foul tipped, held on to. Another strikeout for Ethan. That's his second. 2 outs here in the 4th.
2 good ABs back-to-back from Henry right there, getting the fastball by people, mixing in good amount of curveballs. His curveball has really improved. Just watching it here from last year when I used to catch him.
Yeah, and he hasn't looked bad. He gave up the double to Tolliver, but that inning was only extended because of the error down at first base. He's pitched an inning and a third so far. He struck out a couple, gave up an unearned run. So, he's looked okay. And we talked about it, right? This is an opportunity for him to go out there and, say to Coach Z, you can give me innings when you need somebody to eat some.
Right. And you have a couple bullpen arms that are pretty extensively hurt, haven't seen the field so far this year, and Zach Dempsey and Jack Neek. So there's there is innings to be thrown.
Someone's got to get the outs, right?
Someone's got to get the outs.
The 2 strikes here on Richter. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Henry looking for a 1-2-3 4th. And he'll get it as Juan will have to throw down to first. But a couple of strikeouts in the inning for Ethan Henry. 3 in the game, and Edgewood goes 1-2-3 in the 4th. Bottom 4, 9-0. Edgewood with the lead. Illinois Tech will send up Lucas Juan, Matt Bovey, Freddie Swingle here in their half of the 4th against Aiden Shoemaker, who's looked really good through 3. Gave up 3 singles in the first inning. Has 3 strikeouts, no walks. First pitch to Lucas, down and in for a ball. Juan had an infield single in the first inning. The only 3 hits of the game. Rolls it back to the pitcher. Shoemaker for the first out. Now Bovey. Bovey came up with the bases loaded. 2 outs in the first. Tried to lay a bunt down, but it was fielded right in front of the plate by Carson Richter, and he tagged out Michael Paxson trying to score from third. First pitch strike.
at the very beginning of this game, we were talking about all the little things that went right last game.
Mm-hmm.
One of the little things that went right for Edgewood this game was they were able to strand all 3 of those base runners for Scarlet Hawks in the first inning. And if those 3 runs are plated and it's a 9-3 ball game, you're thinking about this game a little bit differently.
Yeah, you never know what happens in that third inning. If the Hawks are up 3-0 going into that third inning, maybe pitch selection is a little different in that inning, and things turn out differently. But as they say, if my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bike. The 2-2. Bovey down on strikes. There's that curveball again. 4 strikeouts now for Shoemaker, 2 away in the 4th. Now Freddie Swingle. Swingle 0 for 1. Fastball called a strike. 0-1. Shoemaker looking for a 1-2-3 fourth. Swingle foul tips it into the mitt of Richter. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Curveball dropped in, called strike 3. And Shoemaker has that pitch working. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 5 in the game. For the books, Illinois Tech down 9-0. We're in the 5th inning of a 9-0 ball game here. Game 2, Illinois Tech took game 1 10-6. A 5-run 8th propelled the Scarlet Hawks to their first NAC victory of the season. A win today for Edgewood in game 2 would put both teams at 5-8 and 1-1 in NACC play. Last season, Illinois Tech was 17-7 in conference play, finished tied for 3rd. Edgewood 14-10. They were finished in 4th. Fouled straight back by Ambrosi. And he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Good outing so far for Ethan Henry. We'll see if he can keep it up here into his 2nd full inning of relief. The 0-2. Fastball called, strike 3. Bit of a late call, but that's 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Ethan Henry. 4 in the game, 1 out in the 5th. I feel like that strike zone maybe getting a little bit wide here.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's not uncommon that when a team is leading 9-0, the strike zone, especially when it's cold, might get a little bit bigger.
This is hit pretty well out to right field. Swingle is not able to make the catch. The ball gets away from him, and it's Hellenbrand again. He's into second. Here comes the throw to third, and he is out. Perfectly executed relay. Swingle to Bovee to Finch, and Hellenbrand is gunned down at third.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 8, Gary Tolliver.
Yeah, for the first time in a couple innings, a little bit of momentum,
a little bit of life,
juice from the Illinois Tech dugout there.
You know, in other sports, you look at football, you look at basketball, like you can get your offense going by way of a good defensive play, right? You see it all the time. You know, a steal leads to an easy fast break layup, or you know, a turnover in football leads to some points. So maybe a good defensive play here by the Scarlet Hawks in the field will get the offense moving a little bit. Tolliver now, he's 1 for 2. Had an RBI double his last time up. He scored a couple of runs, and he scored 4 times in the doubleheader. He has been a nuisance as that curveball's dropped inside for a ball, 1-1. But that was just a perfectly executed relay by Illinois Tech there. Swingle got the ball into Bovee. Matt with a hard, accurate throw over to Jack Finch, who got the ball in plenty of time, slapped the tag. 3-1. Fastball called a strike, 3-2. Ethan Henry looking to give the Scarlet Hawks 2 2/3 innings of work. The payoff pitch. And it's popped up. Old comes in for it. Timmy settles underneath it, makes the catch. And another good inning of relief for Ethan Henry. He's gone 2 2/3, giving up just 1 unearned run. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 9-0. Luke Yocknen, Timmy Old, Jack Fryer. As the Scarlet Hawks offense tries to figure out this curveball of Aiden Schumacher. It's fouled to the plate by Yocknen. 5 strikeouts for Aiden through 4. 3 singles, no walks. He's been in complete control through 4.
You know what the best way to hit the curveball is, Aaron?
How?
Hit the fastball.
Like Bob Uecker used to say, it's the easiest way to catch a knuckleball. Wait for it to stop rolling and then pick it up.
Yeah.
Yaknin goes down on 3 pitches, and that right there, that shows you what that curveball is doing. He's been using that as the out pitch. He set Luke up there and threw the fastball past him.
Right. Yeah, Luke missed the one that was easiest to hit. That first one, just fouled it off, just missed it, and then he saw the curveball. And then he's probably thinking, oh, I'm seeing the curveball again, and he just gets the heater upstairs that you got to try and fight off.
Jonah Wilkes will pinch hit here for Timmy Old. He'll swing at the first pitch, ground it sharply to Prindle. And that's a quick at bat for Jonah. Sees one pitch, grounds out 6-3. Did you ever catch a knuckleballer?
Never caught a knuckleballer. You know who throws a good knuckleball on the team, though?
Who?
Jonah.
Does he really?
Jonah throws a really good knuckleball.
See, that's what he needs to get out there in one of those JV games you're talking about and say, Skip, let me throw the knuckle. Let me show you.
Yeah, he's thrown it a couple times in like scrimmages or live ABs and stuff, just messing around. And it's okay. He throws it slow enough that sometimes it gets hammered. But when you're just playing catch with them, it's like I don't want to catch that.
I don't want to break a finger.
Yeah.
Here's Jack Fryer. Tough afternoon for Jack here in Game 2. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, but really, really good Game 1 for Fryer. 3 for 5, a triple, 3 RBI. Skies this to center. Tolliver settles underneath it, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Aiden Schumacher, who is absolutely locked in through 5. Third pitcher of the afternoon for Ed Ziefert here in the 6th inning is the righty Alexander Lazis, and he's making his 3rd appearance of the season. 2 1/3 innings. It's been a rough start to the year for Lazis. 7 earned runs and 2 1/3. Coming in relief of Ethan Henry, who, he took advantage of the opportunity that was given to him. He pitched really, really well.
Yeah, good outing for Henry. That bodes really well for him getting more opportunities later in the season.
Blooped to left. Tanner Jenkins using that speed, and he did not make the catch. It looked like he had the ball in his glove, but he popped up and didn't know where it was. I thought he caught it initially.
I thought he did too.
It ends up as a foul ball, so Jenkins in left field for Timmy Old. It's just a strike to Dominic Lee, who's 1 for 2.
Yeah, Lazes was originally slated in the rotation going into this season, and like you said, he's had a little bit of a tough start, so not surprising that down 9-0, Cantlin's throwing him out there to get some more innings under his belt, see if he can correct course a little bit.
This is the right time to get right. I mean, it's hard to truly get right in BP or that sort of thing. You got to do it in a game,
right?
And this is an opportunity for him to put up a couple of scoreless and kind of get feeling right again and get that opportunity later on. He's falling behind Lee 3-1. It's Lee, Carney, and Prindle 2-3-4 for the Eagles here in the 6th. Fastball a little low, so Lee will draw a leadoff walk. 5th walk of the game issued by Illinois Tech pitching. And now it'll be Jacob Carney, who's been up 3 times. He's reached base 3 times as a 2-run single sandwiched in between a couple of walks. That pitch is behind Carney, and Juan able to find it.
Yeah, a lot of free passes this game. You said that was the 5th walk and 2 errors.
Giving up a lot of free base runners.
Yep.
Carney takes that one over for a strike, 1-1.
And on the flip side of that coin, Edgewood has barely walked anybody today.
Yeah, they didn't walk anybody so far here in Game 2. Their starter in Game 1, Drew Lenz, didn't walk anybody in 7. They only walked 1 the entire last game. So 1 walk in 14 innings of work so far for this Edgewood staff. You'll take that.
When you can do that, you really make teams earn it, right? Like Illinois Tech really had to earn that 10-6 victory offensively.
It's all about not beating yourself as that pitch is down and in. Dominic Lee will steal second base. So during the summer, we talked about this offline, I broadcast games for an independent league team out of Rosemont called the Chicago Dogs. And their pitching coach is a gentleman by the name of Stu Clyburn. Stu's a former big leaguer, pitched for the Angels back in the 80s. And he is a firm believer in, if you're out there and you're throwing your best stuff and you're getting hit around, like, he's okay with that. Right. What he doesn't want is for you to go out there and walk the ballpark.
Right.
Don't make it easy on the opposition. If you throw your best stuff and they get you, they get you. You tip your cap and you move on. But don't make it easy on them by putting runners on base.
That's a pretty sound pitching philosophy, in my opinion.
He's been around the game for 50 years, so he knows a thing or two about pitching. The 2-2, down and in.
And I think probably just about every pitching coach would tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier said than done when you're actually out there on the mound. Some days you have it, some days you don't.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Payoff pitch is in there, called strike 3. And a little high, but again, maybe that expanded strike zone a little bit here gives Lazis his first strikeout. The other thing he says to me is, I don't care how hard you throw a ball 4. You get so many people these days that are so obsessed with velo, and they don't know where it's going when it leaves your hand.
Right.
Give me somebody that throws 88 to 90 that can put the ball around the plate. Look at Greg Maddox. I mean, he was sat low 90s his entire career, but he knew exactly where that ball was going on every single pitch.
Yeah, it can be very, very effective that way.
You don't have to throw 95, 97 to be successful. That's hit right into the glove of Paxson for the second out of the inning. And even in games like this, 9-0 here in the 6th, I mean, you can still walk out of here taking some good if this is how it ends in a 9-0 game. We've already talked about the performance from Ethan Henry. See if Lazis can get through this inning scoreless. There are positives that you can take out of everything.
Definitely.
First pitch is lined into right field. That'll get down for a base hit. Lee will round third. He will score on the RBI single from Brevin Brisick. And the lead has reached double digits now. It's 10-0. Good piece of hitting by Brisick, just taking the ball the other way.
taking the ball the other way. Outer half of the plate, not exactly on the corner, and just able to dump the barrel head on it and hit a laser.
Ryan Harris now, the left fielder, 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts.
That means everybody's reached now, right, for Edgewood?
Except for Harris. Harris is still the only one who hasn't reached.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Double checking the line score here, but every batter in the lineup has at least one hit, except for Ryan Harris, who's 0 for 3. So it's been a complete lineup game here for Edgewood. Is really 1 through 9. They're getting production from everybody except for Harris out of the number 6 hole. 1-1 count on him. Runner at second with 2 outs. Harris swings and misses at the pitch, low and away, 1-2.
It's a good changeup there by Lazas. It's definitely his best pitch, a lot of movement, and he's not afraid to throw it to righties, but doesn't always do the best job locating it, which will lead to some of the walks that you'll see out of him.
Going to see if he went around. He did. I went around on that pitch. There was that changeup again. So Lazas with a couple of Ks in his inning of relief. As Edgewood picks up another, we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 10-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, the lead is 10. Edgewood 9 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. Scarlet Hawks will send Gutsfeld, Paxson, and Jack Finch to the plate here against Aiden Shoemaker, who has been locked in really since the get-go. He struck out Jack Fryer looking in the bottom of the 1st, gave up a couple of infield hits and a base hit to left by Finch. And those 3 singles are all Illinois Tech has here in Game 2. As Tyler Gutsfeld will lead it off. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts, and didn't look like he looked like that pitch very much either.
He didn't like it. It was a little high, but we've seen that over the last couple innings, and we've commented on how the zone's gotten a little bit bigger. And as a hitter, especially as a junior, that's something you have to be aware of when you're hitting, right?
I would think as a hitter, and especially and this is something I've always sort of wanted to ask a catcher. So, as a catcher, you can't complain about balls and strikes when you're at the plate, right? Like, that's just when you're batting, like you can't complain, right? You can complain for your teammates as Gutsfeld goes down on strikes, number 7 for Shoemaker. So you can say to the umpire, hey, make sure you give that to my guys, but you can't complain for yourself, right?
Yeah, you can't.
It's a bad idea. Bad idea as a catcher.
Yeah, I was also never a good enough hitter to really be able to complain. So there's that. The times where it's awkward is like you get rung up on a pitch that you didn't think was a strike, and then then you got to go back out there and talk to the guy.
You got to sit right in front of him again, yeah.
And so it's always a little bit awkward when that happens, and usually Even if I didn't think it was a strike, I would go out there and like tell them like good call, and like stroke their ego a little bit.
Okay, all right. I see what you're doing.
So
those are the things good catchers do that people don't know about. You take one for the team.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I struck out. It's either that or we're just gonna sit there in silence for the next half inning, right? So I might as well just get over it and try and get on his good side.
Try to get on his good side so you can get that call for your pitchers.
Right.
It's 1-2 here on Paxson. Fastball up and away.
The thing with umpires is some guys are super chatty back there, and then some guys like don't want to talk at all. And some guys will only talk about the game, and some guys, you'll hear every
they want to know about your school
life story.
and
and they'll tell me all about everything that's going on with them, and it's
a sociable position back there, catcher.
Oh, definitely.
Because you're talking to the players on the other team, I'm sure too.
Yeah, I would talk to them some. They're usually like a little bit more locked in, than the umpire is. So
so it's not like at first base. Like you get down to first base, you're going to chat up the first baseman.
You chat with the first baseman because you're both just kind of sitting there doing nothing,
Right.
Sometimes when I would like try and talk to hitters, they'd get annoyed because they're like trying to be,
I'm
focused
focusing here, man. I'm trying to do something.
Oh, that's going to be called a...
Well, they're going to give him first. Yeah, I know where you were going with that.
It looked like
Paxson
he leaned
stuck
into
that
one.
left arm out a little bit, but he got on base.
I don't think it was going to land as a strike, but you're not allowed to make a motion into a pitch to get hit. So
that was it was pretty well inside, but Illinois Tech has a one-out base runner here in the sixth.
The more appropriate thing to do in that situation is if you're going to stick your elbow out, you got to like really turn
your whole body.
And like you just kind of sell it.
Yeah, as if I'm trying to get out of the way, trying to twist out of the way of it.
Turn into it. Yeah. Rather than just like standing still and like moving your elbow at it. It becomes fairly obvious to the spectators.
It doesn't get called very often though. You know what I mean? The amount of times people get hit by pitches as Finch bloops this one to left, that'll land foul. It doesn't get called often enough that I think in the sort of the heat of the moment, you're like, all right, I'm just going to take this off the elbow pad and go down there. And you don't really think much about getting out of the way or how it looks when I'm trying to get out of the way.
Right.
No balls, 2 strikes here on Jack, who's 1 for 2 with a single.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill. I've played with guys that are exceptional at like getting hit. Like they almost like try to do it.
There's the high heat, so Shoemaker's done just a marvelous job today mixing up that curveball and fastball on those 2 strike counts and keeping the Scarlet Hawks hitters totally off balance here today.
Yeah, they're guessing, and the swings they're taking, they look like they're guessing. They're just getting caught in between the fastball and the curveball, and both have been located and both have been very effective.
It's 8 strikeouts for Shoemaker, 2 away for Lucas Juan. Yeah, baseball is a very sociable game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the things I love about calling baseball games is you get to just sit here and chat for 3 hours, and sometimes you're talking about baseball, and sometimes you're talking about whatever.
Right.
But it's just a very sociable game, and I think it fits in the summer, right? Everyone's just sort of relaxing during the summer months and slowing things down a little bit, and baseball is the perfect sport for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities just with slower pace, because it's not basketball where you're calling basketball, you're locked in and all the time. So
1-1 to Juan is a fastball up and away.
It's definitely a unique and very fun aspect of the game, as from a player, from a spectator standpoint.
I mean, I've done all the major sports. I've also done lacrosse and soccer and pretty much every other sport you can think of. But for me, baseball is definitely my speed. I just enjoy just sort of the 3 hour. Like, I'm not one of those people who cares about length of game. Like, I'll watch a 3.5 hour baseball game. I'm fine with it. Juan goes down on strikes as Shoemaker strikes out the side in the 6th. He's got 9 Ks through 6. We go to the 7th. Edgewood up a whole bunch. Seventh inning, about to get started here on the campus of Illinois Tech. Alex lays us out there for his second inning of work, and he'll face 7, 8, 9 for the Eagles. Carson Richter, Ryan Ambrosi, Hayden Hellenbrand. In a 10-0 game. First pitch fastball inside, 1-0. Lazarus pitched the sixth, gave up a hit, a walk, a run, struck out a pair. Richter 1 for 3 today. Waves at the, I think that was a changeup, yeah?
I think that was a slider.
Slider?
Yeah. They look similar from like our perspective, right? They're both slow and they both drop a lot.
1-1, rolled over to the left side, played by Fryer, and it pops out of Jack Fryer's hand, so Richter will reach.
He's had a lot of tough backhands today, like slow rollers, and that one he was able to get around so he didn't have to backhand it, but balls that have been slow into his right most likely are going to be hits anyway, and he's been able to get over there, but hasn't been able to come up with any of them, so that's something that I would like to see out of him. I mean, he's already an elite defender, but he's also only a sophomore.
Grounded foul up the third base line. Yeah, I mean, he played every game last season because of his glove. You know, I mean, the bat wasn't there. We've talked about this, a couple of times during the day. Hit less than 200 last year as a freshman, but that didn't stop Ed from putting him in the lineup on the lineup card every single day because of that glove. Ambrosi to second, Bovee to Fryer to first, and Illinois Tech turns the 4-6-3 double play. And that middle infield defense, something you can hang your hat on here for the Scarlet Hawks with Lucas Wan behind home plate. You got Bovee and Fryer in the middle infield. Right now, Yaknin out in center, but Tyler Gutsfeld out there when he's healthy. So that defense up the middle, which is always so important, is a very strong suit of this team. Hellenbrand takes the pitch over for a strike.
And the nice thing about that is that all those guys are fairly young. I mean, you got Fryer at short, who's a sophomore. Bovey's a junior this year. Luke's out there in center field right now. He's a sophomore. Normally, Guts would be out there. He's a junior. So you have a really good core that's strong defensively that will be around in the program for a while.
1-1 strike here on Hellenbrand, who's 2 for 3 in this game. He was 3 for 3 in game one. That's a 5 for 6 doubleheader, and that's a nice pitch from Lazarus right at the knees, making it 1-2. Alex looking to give Scarlet Hawks 2 strong defensive innings. Good bullpen work from Illinois Tech here today, regardless of how this one turns out. 1 earned run in 4 1/3 innings in game one.
Yeah.
Just 1 earned run so far here in game two. Lazarus with the 2-2 now to Hellenbrand. Back up the middle, off the mound, into center field for a base hit. So Hayden Hellenbrand, 3 hits in game one, 3 hits in game two. Love it when your number 9 hitter can pick up 6 hits in a 2-game series.
Yeah, a lot of hits just like that. I mean, that curveball was probably 2 inches off the ground on the outside corner of the plate, and he just stuck his butt out, stuck his bat out, and hit it up the middle.
Here's TJ Tolliver now, the center fielder. He's 1 for 3 here in game two. He was 3 for 4 in game one. That goes through him. The throw down is into the runner. The runner is safe. A wild pitch. Now runner at second with a 1-0 count on Tolliver. Fastball in, 2-0. Tech seventh will have Bovee, Swingle, and Yaknin, one of the 3 scheduled hitters. With the score what it is, maybe Illinois Tech's last at bat, 10 run after 7.
It's a good pitch there. We talked earlier about seeing if Lazes could get right, so to speak, with a couple rough outings recently. And I think in this bullpen outing, his stuff has looked good. He's been able to get outs pretty efficiently. I would say he's looking pretty right.
So he had a backdoor slider on the last pitch, the slider down and in on this pitch. He's gone from 2-0 to 2-2. He's given up 3 singles, but has a couple of Ks. He's been around the plate. Low here to Tolliver, putting the count full.
The real key for him is, can he limit his misses in the dirt? He, like on that last pitch there, it's pretty characteristic of when he's having a bad day to throw in the dirt a lot, and he hasn't done that too much here. Has a good pitch there, but not called, just a little bit off the inside to Tolliver.
A second walk for Lazes to go along with 2 strikeouts. 2 on, 2 outs. Got a pinch hitter here. This is Mac Vesperman. Pinch hitting here in the 7th. First pitch blocked by Juan nicely. Vesperman 0 for 4 this year. Sophomore from Monona, Wisconsin. One 0 pitch dropped in for a strike, 1-1. There's another one. 2 good pitches in a row, 1-2. Lazes looking for strikeout number 3 of his outing. One-two is down and in, 2-2. Hellenbrand at second, Tolliver at first. Lazes with the 2-2. Foul tip to stay alive.
A lot of sliders there.
He's been able to locate it pretty well. Even though he's walked a couple, he hasn't missed by a ton on most of them. The 2-2. There's another one down in the dirt, 3-2. The runners will be off with this 3-2 pitch. Jacob Carney in the on-deck circle. Lazes twist, comes set. The payoff pitch. Line drive, base hit to left. Rounding third is Hellenbrand. He will score. Holding at second is Tolliver. It's an RBI single for Vesperman here in the 7th inning. And it's 11-0.
Good piece of hitting by the pinch hitter there.
Mac Vesperman.
Yep.
Took that ball the other way. And now Jacob Carney. 1 for 2 here in game 2. As a 2-run single in the 3rd. He struck out looking his last time up. Fastball down and in. 1-0. Another fastball a little low, 2-0. One and one, I guess. Scoreboard says 2-0. Umpire says 1-1. Rounded to short. Fryer bobbles it. Bounces into center field. Tolliver will score. Vesperman will end at third. And When it rains, it pours for Illinois Tech as the normally sure-handed Jack Fryer makes an error right there, and it's 12-0. Here's Kyle Prindle now. 2 in here in the inning. It's 12-0. Prindle 1 for 3. Ball 1. Lazas fires. Fastball catches the inside corner for a strike. 1-1.
I always find it interesting to see how different baseball players wear their pants.
Oh, yeah. Were you a high sock guy, or?
I was just a full pant.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, it's easier as a catcher to not do the high sock thing.
That makes sense.
With the shin guards and all that. But there's like the new trend is they call them tweeners, and that's what a couple of these last Edgewood batters have here, like
So
Prindle.
Prindle has here?
Yeah, it's like he's wearing a stirrup, which traditionally you would wear your pants just like below your knee so you can see the whole stirrup.
Here's a fly ball to left. Tanner Jenkins is there and makes the catch. So more sock talk when we come back here in the bottom of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th. Scarlet Hawks need 3 to push this game to an 8th. It's 12-0. Schumacher looking for the complete game. He'll face Bovey, Swingle, Yaknin. Just 3 singles given up by Shoemaker, all in the first inning. Bovey swings the first pitch, pops it out of play. I don't know where it is, so I'm going to do a little ducking. Schumacher's been fantastic. 3 singles, no walks, 9 Ks in 6 innings of work.
Yeah, hitless since the first is pretty impressive.
Yep, last player to get a hit was Matt Bovey in the first. Here's a ground ball to the shortstop across his body. Prindle not in time, so Bovey now 1 for 3 rather. Leadoff single here in the 7th.
Well, there's a hit. I spoke it into existence.
You did. Now we just need about 14 more of them.
Yeah.
Here's Swingle now, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Oh, that's DeGroot. Christopher DeGroot will pinch hit here. Freddie was 0 for 2. DeGroot launches it high to right field. Over for it is Brisick, and he'll make the catch over his shoulder. So DeGroot gave it a ride, but one out here in the 7th. Now Yaknin. Luke is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Stays a little high, 1-0. Yaknin fouls it out to the right now to play. That one almost got a car back there. We haven't had any hit a car yet. That one was close.
We hit a car one time playing fungo golf out here.
Oh, I guess if you do it during a baseball game, it's one thing. But if you're just messing around, there's a ground ball to short. And a throw across the body again. It's another infield single here in the 7th inning. If I were driving around down here, I would keep a copy of the Illinois Tech baseball schedule with me at all time so that I know when to drive around the ballpark.
Right.
2 on, 1 out. And Tanner Jenkins will hit.
I will say, in all my years playing, there's so many foul balls that are hit, and most of them always seem to miss the car somehow. Like every once in a while, you'll see one actually hit a car. But especially like fields where you have parking lots off to the side.
That's different, though. If you're parking in a lot and you get hit by a car, it's your fault.
Oh, I agree.
But if you're driving past and you just get plunked, that's unfortunate. Yeah. I remember one a couple of years ago, right through the front windshield, and it was sitting over here for the whole game. And, yeah, that's unfortunate. 0-2 here on Jenkins. And did he go around? He did. That is now 10 strikeouts on the afternoon for Shoemaker. And Jack Fryer with 2 outs. Potentially the last hitter for the Scarlet Hawks here in Game 2. Jack 0 for 3 in Game 2, 3 for 5 in Game 1.
Yeah, we could be witnessing a NAC Player of the Week performance here.
Yeah, and Aiden Shoemaker, very possible. 7 innings, 5 singles, no walks, 10 Ks so far. And he has just breezed through this game. Except for that first inning where he gave up 3 singles. As Fryer hits it well out to left center field. That will break up the shutout here. Fryer will coast into second with a 2-run double. So Fryer not quite ready to finish playing ball yet today. The 2-run RBI double to left center for Jack, and it's 12-2. Fryer now with 5 RBI in the doubleheader. And now it's Gutsfeld with an opportunity to extend this game to an 8th. Tyler 0 for 3 here in Game 2. Fastball cut on and missed, 0-1. Fastball pins the outside corner, 0-2 now. Scarlet Hawks down to their final strike. Gutsfeld hits it in the air to center. Trailing back is Tolliver. He's on the track. He's there. He makes the catch. And that will retire the side, and that will end Game 2 of this doubleheader. Edgewood wins 12-2, 12 runs on 12 hits. No errors for Edgewood here in Game 2. 2 runs on 6 hits, 3 errors for the Scarlet Hawks. The winner is Aiden Schumacher. He improves to 2-1, 7 innings, no walks, 10 strikeouts for Schumacher. The loss goes to Carson Weiss. He drops to 1-2. So these rivals split the doubleheader, and David, fantastic job. I enjoyed my time here with you today.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll do it again pretty soon.
We'll do it again. We got a lot of NAC play coming up, but that's going to do it here from Illinois Tech. Scarlet Hawks split the doubleheader, win Game 1, lose Game 2. Have a great and warm rest of your weekend.